All right, so we are live. Welcome, everybody, and I hope you're doing great. So, good evening in this part of the world, Asia, I guess, good afternoon, Europe, and good morning, US. Depends where you're at. I will be happy to hear where you are at the moment. And as you can see, the topic today will be very interesting. So, I'm going to talk about some of my childhood memories as a teenager, and also some experiences and what I've learned through all these years. And if I could go back, as the topic says, if I could go back to this teenager years, the times, what I would change maybe, or what would be my advice to myself as a 14, 15 years old, or even younger, depends. So I think this is very interesting topic, and that's why I decided to go for it, because obviously there's not going to be many like teenagers here listening. Maybe some, so maybe some of you can take advice. Maybe some coaches, and some advice can also be applied for your players. But also, many of these advice you can kind of use, and hopefully it can bring you value in terms of if you're maybe just starting to play tennis. So you know this is the direction where I want to go with this live, and in this video I want to talk about that. So let's say you just started to play, and what kind of things you should focus on, or this is all from my perspective. Obviously, it's in my opinion. So again, as the main title says, if I were a teenager, I would. So where to start, where to begin? It's you know there's a lot of things going on right now. I mean, when I'm playing and coaching these juniors and the kids, and I can relate so much. I can see myself in the same age, especially with certain players who I can feel they have the drive, the passion. Not so much with the guys and the girls who are like not really into it. They're just playing for fun. But the ones who are like super excited and super like passionate, obsessed, I can really relate. And maybe some of you know, if you watched some of the videos before, earlier, maybe a few years back, I was coaching Christian. He's now a junior player. He's playing ITFs, and he's one of the guys, one of the players. Now he's, I believe, 16 years old, and he's so hungry, so obsessed, and he works super hard, and I can really kind of see myself, you know, in him as a junior. So some things that I would always give advice, and if I would talk completely open with him, it's not easy to approach, the teenagers at this age. It's kind of difficult, but if you approach from that side, so basically the number one thing is that obviously I would say don't take it so seriously, even though you're putting so much time into it and you want it so badly, you train hard. Try to see it as a game and try to have fun as much as you can. So it's all about having fun, enjoy every moment out there. Don't put any pressure on yourself, because this is the something that really stops the most players out there, and not just teenagers. It's also, again, this goes to all the club level and amateur players who are kind of excited and want they put more time in training and preparing for different matches or different challenges, tournaments, whatever. So the biggest break, or something that's kind of preventing you from reaching your best level at that moment, is that kind of internal pressure you put on yourself. It could be external, external. It could be, coming from some of your friends, family, if you have a coach. But the biggest one is the one that you put on yourself. And in my case, what I've learned, when I look back, is that I always put that pressure. It was always it was always difficult to play with that pressure and some kind of expectations that you need to achieve certain result, you need to achieve certain goal, and then kind of at least during matches, during tournaments, of course you love it so much, you enjoy it, but the moment where you play, it's more like handling the pressure and like hoping that you will not lose in my case. So this is something also that I think it's important, that you never want to think in that way, that you're playing not to lose. You should be playing to win, and not just to win, just to have fun. I think the best advice would be just go and have fun regardless of the outcome. And if there has to be the choice between winning, playing to win and playing not to lose, obviously you want to play to win, and you want to always go in that positive direction. It's always easier said than done. There's always going to be doubts and thoughts, but if you can kind of maintain this, the broad picture and the mentality around having fun. Like, I'm here to enjoy this time and playing this amazing sport. I'm happy and fortunate enough to, have the opportunity to play it, and it should go from there. So this is something very very general. So it's like the first approach. Let's say I go back in time and I'm 15 years old, 16, and I'm in the middle of this training at some tournaments. I would just say, "Hey, bro, are you having fun?" Yeah, I would say, "Yeah, yeah," but you know, are you really enjoying like every moment when you play match? Probably it will be like, no, I'm a bit nervous. I'm a bit nervous and a bit afraid. Like, I don't want to I don't want to lose because I hate that feeling after. I would say, bro, don't worry about that. It's like, it's a part of the game, so you should not be concerned about it. You should just accept it. uh, you know Losing, winning, it's going to be absolutely regular part of the game and of the sport. If you choose to play the sport, you just have to accept it. And why not just like, have fun all the time, regardless, just have fun. So, and I would really emphasize this kind of advice. So I don't know if you guys can understand or if this makes sense. But anyways, I'm very thankful for everybody here joining. Hopefully there will be we will have more and more people here joining. I did not announce this live, but hopefully we'll have. So we have a few people here on YouTube channel. They joined. Thanks guys for being here. Present moment is always something special. Liam, thanks man, always here. Really appreciate your presence and all your support. It's great to have somebody like you. So really appreciate it. And for all of you other guys here, you're welcome to drop some comments. I will try to read some of them and touch on the topics, as long as we can stick with this kind of topic. So basically, kind of tips and advice for like younger players or the players who are starting to play. What should be the areas to focus on. So as I said, that will be like number one. So the biggest thing is like, for me, and even nowadays, so not just for beginners actually, even like tomorrow if I go for tournament, my first thing will be Milan, Milane, let's go and have a blast. Like, absolutely every point, there's no reason for any pressure. You're just gonna have a blast, have fun, do whatever you feel. Maybe it's going to be amazing day, you can do whatever you want in terms of feeling the ball. If you don't feel the ball, it's fine. You can still enjoy the match and the struggle, solving problems during the match, how to find weaknesses of the opponent, how to win ugly, all these things. Everything is super fun. So that will be the number one. And then the second thing, if I were a teenager and I could do something differently, I would 100% work more on the returns. So I did so much serving pretty much every single day from very young age. I cannot say 12 or 13 years old, maybe 13, 14 years old. I'm sure I started already, and I was doing the serve pretty much every day for at least half an hour up to an hour, and some days even more, like 1.5 hours. There were some extreme days, but yeah, because obviously I spent so much time for the serve, my serve really got to the point where I was very confident with it. And even if I would play some stronger players, at least in terms of rankings or age, I would be confident that I'm able to hold my serves even at that like young junior age. And that was usually the case. But my game was suffering like after the serve. As long as somebody was able to kind of neutralize my serve, my game after that was kind of weaker or not so stable. It's simply because I spent so much time on serving. So the what I said, I would focus on return because when the opponents were serving, I was really struggling to get in the point. So, or if I would get in the point, that would be just to put the ball back. I wasn't able to do some damage on the returns, and this is very natural if you don't train it. So, all these guys now on the ATP and WTA, the girls, the people who are great on the returns, this is not natural talent. It could have something with somebody's a bit quicker on the reaction, somebody's able to react faster or anticipate, read the servers, but there is I'm very very confident about this. There is 80 85% is all about hard and smart work, like how you train, how you prepare, how you work and practice returns. So if I think about it, I okay, we just got somebody put a message. Karatsev just lost to Tsitsipas. All right, that's good. Thanks God for the update. So yeah, if I would go again to being a teenager, I would spend every day at least, I don't know, some portion of the training, maybe even 30%, like one third on returns. This is, however, very difficult if you don't have a regular coach or partner, or sometimes you cannot really ask your partner to do the serve, but you can maybe make some, agreement. You can do like mutually. Some part you will serve, they will return, and you can also explain. Basically, I would highly recommend you guys focus on returning. Do a lot of returns as much as you can. Again, if you're by yourself, your option is to do serves, and this is why I did so much serving as a junior, because a lot of times I was just by myself and I want to train, I want to play, but nobody around. Usually I wanted to train more than everybody else, and you know some other guys, they were doing other things, other activities. I would just be on the courts. I would like to train more. So in those moments, I wasn't able to do returning. But if I were again junior, all the times when I'm on court and I have a partner or even a coach, if I would have some private lessons, I would just ask, just do the serve. I would hit hundreds of returns every day if possible, every day if possible, and also I would work on that next shot. So return and the next shot, and also after, not just the serve. If I do the serve, I would have somebody to feed me the ball after. So it's not, you're not creating that habit of just stopping, because for me this happened a lot as well, and it's a bad habit. You hit a good serve and then you kind of, you think it's over. Which in my case, if I have a good serve, if I hit a spot, in most cases it's almost over, or I would get like super easy ball. But sometimes I'm really not ready. I'm not expecting the next ball. So that's another very important advice and something to think about. So working on the returns and also the next shot after the return. So it's return plus one, and also serving and hitting that next shot. So that can be like the second big thing that I would give advice myself if I were a junior again, a teenager. So number one being have fun. Number two, definitely it will be train and practice more returns. So that's so far, and I'm gonna proceed with this. I just wanna read a few more comments. Again, appreciate everybody, guys, and feel free to give me some suggestions or some questions where we can kind of also guide this conversation. I'm very happy to, I'm flexible with that. I would also like sometimes to be able to bring some of you in the screen so we can have like a talk, and I would like to answer some questions like live. I need to figure out how to do that though. So I'm still a few steps away from that. Gabriel, Gabriel, that's certainly the advice I would give myself when I was playing. All right. John, I need advice for single hand backhand consistency. Okay, that's a little bit off the topic. Let me see the others. What's the weakest and strongest mental aspect of junior players? Rahul, thanks so much. That's a good question. That's a good question. The weakest and strongest mental aspect of junior players. I cannot talk in general. Again, I can kind of talk from my perspective and maybe my experiences of the players I've been coaching and also myself and the players around me when I was a junior. But I think this question kind of relates to the topic, so it can kind of be another advice for young players or the players who are starting. So they're junior in tennis world, so they're like starting to play. So so again, the weakest and strongest mental aspect of junior players. I could start with the weakest, and this is also something that I briefly touched on in the beginning, and that is, having that pressure that comes from it's usually two main sources. One is external coming from coaches, parents, friends, peers, other players, and the other one is internal coming from yourself. So you kind of tend to put that pressure and comes coming from expectations. And yeah, I was doing a lot of research about this like mental game and mental side of sports, tennis, not just tennis, also other sports. I'm currently reading a book. Actually, I'm reading it for a while. It takes some time. The book is called The Mental Game of Baseball, and I was given this book by a very good friend in America when I was studying there, when I was going to college. And I remember he told me, no matter what you do, with this book, make sure you keep it, you don't lose it because it's a very special book. So I'm reading it now, and it can be applied to so many sports, and so many sports are similar in this mental game. So definitely the weakest aspect, in terms of mentality, for the young players is just having this pressure. But this is not just for young players, right? This is kind of normal. It's like human nature. We tend to create pressure for ourselves, and yeah, to deal with that, it's not easy, but I think it's possible to improve that. Same as any other aspect in sports, same as you train your techniques and your serves and your fitness, you can train your mindset, and there are many ways to do that to improve. I would say you can start with simply, let's say you have a match coming up or tournament. What we usually tend to do is that we kind of think think about that event itself has some big value, and that event itself is kind of guilty of the pressure we have, right? That event brings the pressure, but it's actually nothing related. The pressure again comes mostly from us, from inside, what we how we see that event. So again, this is not just talking about it. I mean, I've been there, I played so much, and I know very well, you know, again, if you go in the other direction and you want to say I'm so excited about this tournament because I'm gonna have so much fun. That's the way you should approach. So it's not like, oh, I'm afraid to go there. If I lose, or if I play this guy or this girl, it's like, and I lose, that's gonna be so bad. You should always go, on the opposite side and see it as something super fun. If you're like you know a young guy or girl, and you're going out, you're going to some club, and you're just going there and you want to have fun, you want to have a blast, you want to be relaxed, and you're with your friends, whatever. You just want to not care and then have fun. So if you can have the similar mentality when you're going for a match or tournament, I think that would make such a big difference. Now, on the other hand, for the strongest aspect of juniors, at the same time, it can be kind of completely opposite, because I've seen some players who pretty much don't care much, especially here in China. The mentality is like very specific from the people, the character, I guess. Some of these players, and some teenagers, they just have this mentality of like, they don't care so much, and it looks like it doesn't mean too much to them, so they kind of play without without pressure. So at the same time, it can be both ways. But it's a question that definitely has a lot of layers in it. Like, we could talk about this for a while, like mental aspect, and the mentality of players in different terms. And this also depends on the backgrounds, on the different situations. It's very individual. It's very relative. I think it's different from a player to player. So you can have some players who are, you know, very good at something but bad at the other thing, mentally. So it's very tough to make a general rule about it. But I hope this a little bit gives some value, for Rahul. Thanks for the question again. And another question from him: how to add more drive on the tennis forehand without losing spin? This is again a bit different, more technical. This is more about maybe making the video. So it's more for different kind of videos. So here I want to talk about more, as I mentioned, uh, the junior the junior times, and something that I would change if I could go back in time. Uh, let's see, what would be the next advice. I think I did pretty good job with fitness. I think I was pretty good there. I would train super hard. I was fit. I never had problems with playing the third set or playing long matches to lose like stamina or endurance, or maybe lose the match because I was out of breath or I was not able to move well. Mm, okay, so definitely something that could affect a lot. Besides advice of like, you should go and have fun, right? So besides that, I would let's say I would take myself, as a kid, let's say 14, 15 years old, and I would regularly have some like conversations. I would talk to myself and talk about different ways how to control your emotions during match, how to kind of detach from the situation that's happening, and how to, you know, calm down, how to slow down the time. This is actually super important. So again, this is for the mindset, right? How to become more stable mentally, and how to like not allow different moments or situations to kind of take you out of the zone. It's just like slowing down. And there's a very very famous quote. It says, "Slow motion can get you there faster." And it's very very powerful if you think about it a bit more. And I think I just made a post about like topic related to this today on Instagram. I posted this like photo where I did a jump, and then in the photo it's just my legs, and I'm like, it looks like it's flying. So if you're able to kind of narrow down the time and just focus on the very moment that's happening, and you basically block out all the, the noise, the distractions, but more so, the past and the future. So you, in that very moment, it's, now when I talk about it, and I can imagine you listening, and like, what I'm saying, but maybe some of you will get it like completely. I watched there was also one movie, it was so good, a movie about some gymnast, and I think this guy, he was like obsessed, and he wanted to get better, to compete at the highest level. I think he got some injury, he broke his leg or arm, I don't know. And then, but the point is that he got this guru or some guy. He was giving him this advice, and then some of the scenes, like some like moments in the movie where he was training, like he was preparing, and then he got it. Like he got this idea, not idea. He got this way of being so focused that there was no way to make any mistake, not even a micro mistake. He would do like a perfect performance, and the camera showed like everything slowed down, and literally he was doing the exercise in slow motion, right? So this is like now, actually, literally, as I said, slow motion gets there faster. Like the camera was showing everything he was doing super slow motion, right? He was doing some performance on that, on the, I don't know how it's called, for the gymnastics on that, the horse, right? With the handles, and then he's like lifting his legs around it, and then you can see all this, the powder is like going out, and it's like slowly. So then he applied the same when got to the match, when he got to the competition, right? And every single time he was able to perform like in a perfect way. So it'll be very interesting, if I have someday, if I have a chance to talk with some of these best players in the world. I would be so excited, you know, if I can ask them the question that I don't know if they will be willing to share, but I'm sure some of them, they must have some, not trick or some rituals, something that can really bring their attention there to that very moment, kind of slow down everything, completely forget about what happened before, what's coming up. Like maybe some of you saw like Roger Federer at one match, like he finished the match, and he at that point he forgot that the match was over. So he was going like to serve for the next point. Like obviously this doesn't happen like so often, but they must have some ritual or something that can completely block out everything, and they're just focused on very simple things, right? They narrow down everything, and the tasks become very simple, usually just the next shot. Find a way, work on that, practice. It can be through meditation, master the breathing, whatever, do everything possible, do the research, talk to as many people as you can, you know people with experience, somebody who has knowledge. So find ways to work on that side, and so not just technique, not just physical, but focus on this and how to control your emotions, and then learn all the tricks, all the little tricks that can kind of work instantly when, and that can be applied. So this is more like you need to first learn the skill, how to kind of slow down, how to be able to get your thoughts like in the right way. You will always have thoughts, so like how to kind of accept the thoughts and let them go, and then still be there in the present. But some tricks that can really keep you present, or calm you down, or like just enable you to perform at the highest level. So for example, one could be as simple as just breathing, how to breathe and make your breaths like consistent, and just by focusing on your breath, you might forget about, or you might kind of feel like a release of the pressure, because you just simply targeting your thoughts on the way you breathe, right? And sometimes I do it now when I'm playing, and when I feel like I'm getting a bit nervous and excited, I feel that stomach, the feeling, and it's like sometimes uncomfortable, if I think about it, oh, the next game I'm serving, I'm 5-4 down, and it's very tough to break this guy. And I don't know, maybe my first serve was not working, and then you start having these thoughts. If I don't start the game good, first point like this. If I get this feeling, I just like, okay, stop. Let's just breathe. Okay, let's just relax. Let's just take a moment and approach from that perspective, and then I just like it just slows down. I just focus, like, breathe in. I usually count 4 seconds, like a very deep breath for 4 seconds, and then I exhale for 6 seconds, and then I repeat that. And I try literally to just count the seconds and focus on that breath to make it like perfect. And that's my only task at that moment. So I'm not thinking about the strategy for next. I'm not even trying to imagine what's going to happen or visualize. Sometimes I do that, but that's like just prior to the point. Maybe when I'm serving, I can visualize a good serve and something like that. So the breathing can really help me. And so now when I, like, I did all the research and I discovered and I talked to different people. Very simple. So if I were a teenager again, I would definitely focus more on my breathing, and that's how I would calm myself down, and for sure play better in some, like, very very like important moments, instead of rushing through. And like, because when you forget about your breath, it's there is scientifically proven. There was like some research, some experiments. The heart rate, everything, it becomes erratic, and then some small little mental blocks occur, and like you literally kind of underperform in whatever you're doing. So this is also good advice for anything else you're doing. Anyways, to kind of come back to the topic, uh, another small trick that can help you, just having some routine that can always bring you some familiar feeling, right? Sometimes we can lose that feeling in a match. You feel very uncomfortable because you're not having the control of the match. Obviously, if opponent is playing good, it's not going your way. If you have the routine, that's how you see Rafa and Dale doing all these crazy things. But you can have something very, very simple, or something on your own, something that you develop, that you can do always, not just when it's a tough time, but always. And you do it, you know, when you feel good, when you feel okay, when it's normal day, average, when it's bad day, you always do it. So you will always have something that's familiar. And if you do it also in the trainings, it makes even more sense, right? For example, if you training serve, you make sure that you do always the same pattern, maybe 3 times bounce. The way you prepare with the racket, if you look at the racket, certain parts of it, if you move the strings on the racket, and if you make that a habit and you do it always in a match, it can kind of make you more like secure, and just give you more confidence there. And yeah, so those are some things. And another one, maybe it's kind of funny, or maybe it's doesn't seem to be like very, how to say, valid or serious, but you could simply start whistling, or just like smiling, or thinking about something that makes you smile, or that makes you like laugh, even, during these tough times. Just kind of realize, come on, it's still just a game. There's no need for this nerves, for this pressure, for this kind of feelings. So yeah, something as simple as that, you can kind of enjoy the moment, just like whistling, singing some song like inside, or like whatever, smiling. I think that's always good. So that could be another thing. I'm a little bit now off the track, so I need to go back, and I will just read a few comments here. Jason, I just lost a tennis match, but I feel like I was mentally stronger when I actually enjoyed playing tennis. That sounds right. That sounds about right. This first part, lost the match, honestly, I read it and didn't mean much, because everybody loses like almost every every other time. So it's just part of it. But this second part, it's really amazing. I like it. I've actually just begun playing more and more tennis matches, but I just lost three in a row, and obviously it's not good for my confidence. That I can understand. Should I play some easier tournaments so as to get more wins and build up my confidence? Very, very good question, and something that I've seen experience a lot. There was a lot of there were a lot of parents who kind of tried to keep their kids away from playing against players who are maybe better than them, and so that they don't lose their confidence, or maybe don't play like too strong tournaments. Maybe playing smaller, easier tournaments, to build the confidence. Yeah, maybe this is more from this psychological side. Maybe some experts can talk more about this, like building the confidence in that way. I think the best is simply knowing your level and then playing playing matches or tournaments where you belong, right? Not playing the lower level or the higher. It's just like where you belong until you feel like you are winning mostly, or like you're winning a lot of tournaments, or like reaching, you're going far in the tournament. Then you might consider playing stronger, because I know some parents would actually, they would think opposite. They would like their kids to play in a stronger tournament, so even if they lose, they can say, oh, okay, we lost to older player, or like much higher level, and it's fine. Whereas they don't, they're kind of afraid to play against their peers, the actual, like, competitors, the rivals. I think you become better player if you play against similar level players, but at the same time you should definitely play both, like lower level and higher level. So I mean, there's no rules. I think you should mix up. I think you should not kind of constrain yourself on now because you lost three matches and you want to play easier tournaments. So then you just go and play easier tournaments. I think you can mix. So next one, maybe you can play some easier. You can get some win, and then you go back here. So I think that would be a good combination, good recipe. Anyways, thanks for the questions. Okay, I skip one. German slice. I do my best back in slices when controlling them with breathing. Okay, that's good. Breathing is must when getting tired during match. Shots stray when you're getting tired, so I control the strain with breathing. That's how I came back to being set down. That's good. Yeah, that's a great point. So, what? How do you play? Okay, another point maybe, if I were to give advice to myself as a junior, and that immediately, and what's the message? It's like what I give advice to, like, younger players here, if somebody's listening, or people who are just starting to play. uh, let's say you start a match and it's not going your way and you're set down, right? Everybody's familiar with that feeling. It's like you're kind of halfway halfway in the hole, right? And you need to find a way to get back, to dig yourself out of the hole. Now, there are definitely, I mean, different situations. This can happen when you're playing against the number one seed and a total favorite, where your chances are super, like, small. You're never out of chances, right? You should always believe there's a chance, but that's one scenario where, okay, it's normal, it's expected to be set down, and what can you do? Like, you have nothing to lose. You can try something different. Like, you can try to change your game and experiment and just enjoy. If you're playing a very good player, much stronger, it's a great experience, and simply try out things. On the other hand, if you're, let's say, playing against your rival, somebody that you played before, or the player who's like similar level, and you're set down, you know, it's good to be aware of, what kind of day is it? Like, is it because of you? Are you playing bad, or it's just they were playing very good, and you maybe need to, again, change the game, find a way to, you know, to attack their weakness or go to your plan B if your plan A is not working. So is it because of your bad game, bad day? How can you compensate that? Usually you can immediately start moving better. Like this is always something you control, and this is the advice I also give my players the most often. You know, they're like, I don't feel my forehand today, and I said, okay, and so what? Or like, I don't feel like when I'm playing, it's doesn't feel right. And I say this is normal, like you're not gonna feel. So what can you do? What is under your control every single time, unless you're like super tired? It's your movement, right? It's how you approach to every ball, how you adjust, how you make the split step, how many steps you make, how fast, how you recover. All this together, and you can always improve that. So that's another thing. If I will go back and this is actually advice I was getting a lot from my, coach as a junior, and he was, and he still is, one of the best coaches, I believe, in Serbia. He was the Davis Cup captain in Serbia. This was before Novak Djokovic, obviously, and I think even before Janko Tipsarevic. And so his advice was always faster feet, non-stop, non-stop, don't stop moving, don't stop moving. And he had this analogy of like try to be like a little bee and like make the sound with your feet, like the bees are making the sound. And at that time, I remember that age, I really didn't like this. I didn't like to hear it because it's always extra effort, and you think like, why I need to do this? It's not the feet. It's like my forehand, I don't feel right, and I think, okay, he's a coach. He should give me some like better advice. He should tell me, oh, do this with the racket. But it's mostly the footwork. It's mostly the positioning, right? Where you're standing and what do you do with your body, with your feet? How is the balance? So yeah, I would keep telling myself the same advice I was getting from the coach, and now I would say honestly, this is one of the best advice. Like if you don't feel it and it's not your day, guess what? You still have your feet, you still have your legs, and you still have your fitness. So this is something that you can prepare for always if you do your homework for like getting ready for the match. You know, not the day before. This comes for months before and years. You train, you get fit, you get flexible, you train your balance, and then in the match you can. This is something that you can control. So I would always say, because when you have this tough match and you're set down and you feel this nerves, and like you sometimes feel like your legs are frozen, like you're not controlling them, but that's not true. You can always start moving, and then everything is gonna feel better. So I think that's another good advice. So hopefully you guys got that, and you will remember it. It's gonna help a lot. Yes, I'm not watching Monte Carlo. Unfortunately, I decided to talk to you guys here. Let's see from Instagram if we have some questions. Hate to hit double faults. Ooh, okay. Okay, double faults. That's a good question. And you are true inspiration. Okay, every day you represent absolute passion, and we give me willingness to adopt your life because passion is our advantage. All right, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So I want to talk about this, the double faults. Great point, great question. I'm sure many of you guys relate to this, and I'm sure Alexander Zverev also relates. And some of the pros, as you can see, double faults are not just issue for you know the amateur players, club level players, and beginners, juniors. It's out there. It's real. So dealing with double faults, I had a very very unpleasant, at least to say, experience with this, and that was back in U.S. when I competed. I played for Auburn University, and we had in fall we would have this individual tournament. So like you as a player, you would just play for yourself, but you kind of represent university. So we traveled and we played this away tournament. I think there were just like three players from a team playing that tournament. I was one of them, and I was playing this match, and it was match without breaks basically. And as I mentioned, my serve was pretty good. Always, I was able to hold it almost every time, and but I struggled on the return, so I wasn't able to break this guy, and I held all my serves. So it was the first two sets went to tie breaks, and we split the sets. So the third set, the same. We held our serves until it was like 6-all. So we played the tiebreaker in the third set, and yeah, when I was 5-3 up in that final tiebreak, and I had a serve, one more serve. So I was thinking, should I go for first serve, or like should I go for the big serve, or just make sure I make it and then like start a point. But since I wanted to be brave and I wanted to take a risk, because if I was thinking, if I make the first serve, most likely I win the point, and I didn't want to think about the second serve, like, oh, what if I miss the first serve? Anyways, I went for the big serve. I made it, but the guy somehow, I think he like guessed, or he read it. He like returned like unbelievable back in. I remember I served down the tee. He returned back in, and maybe I was surprised, or maybe I returned back, or anyways, I lost the point. So he got that mini break back, and then 5-4 up, and he's serving, and I don't remember, those 2 points went by like this. I lost both, and I was serving 5-6, match point down. Again, same situation. Should I go for first serve or not? Hell yeah, I'm going for it. I'm not gonna think. I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna go for the big one. I missed it, and then I realized, oh my god, now I have second serve. I didn't really think about this. I have to make this serve, otherwise. So the thoughts start coming in, and I'm just like, okay, let's just go for the serve. I did not kind of pause. I kind of maybe rushed it a bit, and as I hit that ball, I realized this was not me. This somebody else took the racket, or like my arm, whatever. Somebody else swung. What is the past tense? And literally, I hit like middle of the net. It was not close. It was not even close to like the top of the net here, right? So this is the net. It was like in the middle, and it was super slow. I could not believe. So at that point, like I thought, no, 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 this didn't happen. And I'm like I'm looking at the point. I almost want to say, sorry, can I do it again? Because it was absolutely like I've never experienced. Like, how did that happen? I guess something had like maybe it was like the breathing. I was like from this excitement, or being nervous as well. Literally, the hand like stopped, and when I went through the ball, it's like I literally pushed it so much, and it went in the net, and that's how I lost the match. I could not believe, like, it was so painful. But anyways, talking about double faults, that was one of the experiences I had, and the lesson learned was, I don't know. You can tell me what would you learn from this? I think I was always thinking after that, if I'm in the period, or in the matches where on the big point, the second serve I don't feel comfortable, I will simply make sure that the first serve goes in. You know, I would not risk it again to go in that position where I'm gonna be so like shy on the second serve, or I would make sure that I train. I would do more second serves. Usually, when I serve, I would just serve the first serves. I would just practice first serve. So I would. That's another advice for the teenager, for the beginners. Train second serves. Work on that. Consistency percentage. Put yourself in pressure situations so you can a little bit have that feeling. It's not gonna be the same, but you can always find ways to train and improve that. But yeah, that was the lesson. That number one, you either make sure you get that first serve in. It can be like a bit harder second serve, with some rotation. Or if you decide to go for the first serve, your second serve has to be a proper second serve. And maybe I would even go for the serve and volley on the second serve, which I did a lot after actually. So I had some matches, when I was set point down. I remember at least two matches. I remember when I was set point down on my serve, so it was a break point, second serve, and I did serve and volley, and I won the point, and I turned around set. So, definitely learned a lesson there. But in general, the rule for not the rule, the advice for double fault is that if you're not feeling safe on the second serve, when you don't have pressure, you're gonna make double faults a lot. So you need to train second serve, work on the percentages, give yourself goals and keep the track. Like every week, are you improving your percentage when you don't have pressure? And then you add pressure with certain exercises. Maybe you can, I don't know, find ways. Whatever puts you under pressure, you can make some bets. You can make a live video. So maybe some people will watch you live. Maybe you bring some people there to watch you. Some people have this pressure. Whatever it takes, you need to create pressure situation and then you practice. So that's number one. You need to train yourself and work on the second serves. And then number two is that work on your first serves. Not allow yourself to get in a position that you're serving second serve on a huge point. Make sure you get the first serve in, And the third one will be, do something unexpected, such as serve and volley on a big point. Surprise not just your opponent, but surprise yourself. Do something that's like not so familiar, and you might not feel that pressure because it's exciting. So that would be advice for that. I hope that makes sense. Hope that helps. And I'm gonna wrap up now soon. Thank you everybody here. It's been more than 50 minutes, 52 minutes. I just cannot keep this short. I just start talking a lot. I wish we have a little bit more interaction, and maybe it's my fault. Maybe I need to engage you guys more, engage with you. But anyways, it's been great time. We had how many? I don't know. That's maybe yeah. I don't know total, but at the time we have this like 15, 20 people on YouTube, and then Instagram a little bit struggling. I guess need to get better with interaction. But for some of you who are here, if there is one person here that you got some value, maybe you got some new you learned something, I'm so happy. So and if somebody got some useful information or advice and you think it will help next time, maybe you wrote it down or something, that's it. Mission completed, and I could sleep well after this. And we have another comment. I don't worry. No, how to improve first serve percentage? I can serve fast, but I'm not able to serve accurately. There is no secrets. There is no shortcuts. You just have to hit a lot of serves, making sure that it's the proper technique and that you are doing the right thing. And then it's just percentage. It's just numbers. The more you hit, you're gonna get better at it. That's it. Working on your craft. I don't worry if I double faults when score is 15 or 40 or 30. 50. I don't worry about those. I'm only concerned if I hit them at the wrong time during the big points. Exactly. Obviously, nobody's afraid to make double faults at 40 love or when you're up. But when you're break point down, you kind of don't want to put yourself there where you're risking that you give away that easy point. But as I said in the beginning of answering this question, even players such as Zverev, and there are also some others, the double faults happen on the biggest points, and it's normal. So you can only do so much, but you do what you can control, and you prepare as much as you can. So to do a very quick recap here, advice. Or what if I were again a teenager? I would, number one, I would try to have as much fun as possible, not just, I mean, during the whole process, training, everything, but in matches. That's the key. When I'm going for the match, every point I play, I would try to remind myself, you're here to have fun. Let's have fun. Let's have blast. I would try to smile. I would try to laugh. I would try to hit some fun shots. I would play for fun, and I would enjoy it. So that's number one. Number two, I talked about returns. I would work much more on the returns every day, if possible. Whenever I have a chance, if I have a partner or coach, I would ask, give me more serves. I want to return. And I would balance between serving and returning, not just serves. So very important. And also that next shot, a return plus one and serve plus one. I will work on that. Number three, I think I talked about the mentality, the approach, working on your mental strength and doing some exercises, understanding that it's all about being in the moment, trying to slow down the time, you know, working on different techniques, breathing, but understanding that it will help you to stay there in that one very moment. And yeah, that's it for that mentality. Just I would learn. I would do a research. I would spend more time every day just trying to get tougher mentally, and I will do some physical exercise that can help me as well with that, such as overcoming that feeling of not no overcoming moments where you don't feel to do something and you actually do it, and every time you do it, and that's how you kind of build that momentum and confidence. This is a bit another topic. It's why I also do these workouts every single day. So it's like becoming super not confident, but aware that you can pretty much do everything even when you don't feel for it. So some tough matches you will have uncomfortable feeling and you will still be fine. And finding ways to win on a tough day. So that's another thing. So being in the moment, uh, having some tricks, or always knowing what to do in certain moments, so you can kind of give yourself the best chance to perform at your best, which is very tough to do every time. So, and then again, accepting the fact that you cannot win always. So the outcome is irrelevant. It's all about the effort and what you do on court, and behavior. I didn't talk about one thing, and that is I would definitely try to behave better, control emotions more, which is not easy when you are so much into it. When you want something so bad, it's very tough to just stay cool. You always sometimes have this outbursts, and emotions talk, but that's also part of the game. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't know. Maybe I touched on something else towards the end, but I think those are the some of the main things. Maybe there'll be more things to talk about in some of the future lives. I would maybe also give some advice. I think that the most common and the most interesting topic is performing under pressure, and when you play a match, how can you play your best, or how can you play like in a training? And this also for me very very fascinating topic, and I'm trying to get better at it, and I will always keep sharing all my knowledge, experiences, and hopefully that will give some value, help you to also play close to your best. All right. Uh, so thanks again one more time, everybody. 59 minutes. I'm gonna just cut it now, just under 1 hour. And again, appreciate everybody at the time and your engagement, some comments, questions. That's it. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon in our next live. All right. Take care.